everyone. Welcome to the Women Are Worthy Network. Today is going to be it's going to be a beautiful day, and it is a beautiful day. Happy New Year for those of you who I haven't spoken with the last show. So we want to wish you a happy 2023. What else can I say? I love you. So let me go through housekeeping because I do not want my team to get on me, okay? 2023 is going to be a better year. So I'm walking the line with them, okay? So I want to remind you to please like and subscribe. If you have any comments, you can please comment, share the page. As you guys know, sharing is caring. So for those of you, 2023, we're still in January. Let me remind you, it's the 17th. It's Capricorn season. So I'm still celebrating my birthday, y'all. So here's the thing. Usually January 1st is when everyone wants to do that. Let's do a vision board. Let's do a manifestation, write it down. If you see it, you can achieve it, you believe it, those kind of things. So I have, we have the pleasure of this wonderful, beautiful spirit, Miss Georgia Woodbine. Let me explain something to you let me tell you a little bit about this lady, right? So let's go through this. Now, in my mind, transforming minds does equal transforming lives. Okay. When I tell you this lady is walking in the truth, she knows what she's talking about. She walks the walk and talks the talk. Okay. So Georgia she's a life transformation coach. Now, I know that's some buzzwords y'all hear. You pay these people, they don't do anything, they don't do jack. Georgia knows exactly what she's doing. She resonates with people. So she wants to give people actionable tips and tools so her clients, so they can create a life so they can gain knowledge and they can create the life that they want. So she has this tagline that I love that's called create the life you love. How many of us are living a life that we don't like? Okay, we wake up every morning and it's the same old, same old. We hate well, not me. Y'all hate y'all jobs, okay? And you're just looking at the clock. So I wanted to bring this positive woman on this show so we can talk about creating the life that we love. So the Women Are Worthy Network, we are proud. We are so happy to have Miss Georgia Woodbine. Hello, Miss Georgia.
Hey, how are you? I'm excited to be here.
Man, first of all, let me give you your roses. You are gorgeous. Okay?
Oh,
You and
thank
I have
you.
spoken. You're gorgeous inside and out. And I just want to thank you, first of all, for taking your time to be in the space with me because you could be anywhere, but you chose to be in this space with me. And I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to have conversations with you. Always.
Okay, so we're going to talk about this thing that I have, but we'll talk about it in a minute.
Hmm.
Let's talk about, okay, it's 2023. How can I make 2023 different from 2022? People are constantly complaining. You see all the deaths on television. You get it through your phone. It's exhausting. It's no
Hmm.
wonder there are people who are checking out when they shouldn't, but they're
Hmm.
checking out. Please, Georgia, can you give us some tips, some tools? What do we need to do?
Absolutely. I believe that the biggest barrier between where you are and where you're trying to go is your mindset. That's basically what prevents you from getting to the next step. And when you challenge yourself to do something that you think is impossible, you realize that, wow, I can achieve this. Wow, I can reach this goal. Wow, I can do this thing. Now, there's a quote that I love, and it's by Dr. Steve Maraboli, and it says, the universe doesn't give you what you ask for with your thoughts. It gives you what you demand with your actions. So it's always about taking action. It's always about you doing something to see something different. Because there's a saying, in order to see something different, you have to do something different. Insanity is what? It's doing the same thing the same way you have been for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and you're like, I'm not happy. I don't like where I am. Your life won't change unless you change. People don't understand that. You have to change for your life to change. You cannot expect to have that loving relationship, or being the best health of your life, or have that career that you love, or create the life you love, without you changing bad habits, you changing the way you're managing your time, you changing the way you're doing things. So it's always about you taking that personal time to really confront the things you need to change. Because guess what? You can't change what you don't confront, right? You're always talking about all these things you want to change, but yet you won't look in the mirror. It's so much easier for people to look at someone else and say, you need to do this, you need to do that. But it's a lot harder to self reflect and say, I need to do this different, you
You
know?
know, for me, I try to not try because I don't like that word. What I do, I always want to be better today than I was yesterday.
Hmm.
And I don't want to keep saying I'm a work in progress in the same area because we have to graduate, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I want to make sure that I'm living my best life because we only have one life to live.
I
And I'll
know.
be doggone it if I'm one of those people that when it's time to check out, coulda, woulda, shoulda. I don't want to do that. I'd rather try it and not succeed because the greatest thing is at least trying it. You know what I'm saying? So,
Hmm.
and you can learn from your mistakes if that's what you want to call it.
Hmm.
So, what should we do? So I like where this is going because I needed to listen to your voice today, honey. So how do you help people who, because when I told people you were coming on in some of my groups, they had some questions for me to ask. They wanted to know, how do you get rid of, or how do you deal with negative people?
Oh, that's a big one, right? That's a big one because they say the average person has between 12,000 and 60,000 thoughts a day, and of those thoughts, 95% are repetitive and 85% is negative. Why is that? Because it's so much easier to think negative. It doesn't take work. It's like a natural reflex that you have. And so, in order to get to that place in your life where you actually starting to see positive things happen, you can't continuously speak negative things and
Mhm.
expect to see positive results. So you can't walk around here talking about you're broke, or you can't find the perfect relationship, or you can't find the right job, or so you're putting out that energy. So what people don't understand is when you're vibrating at the energy of lack, you will never receive abundance. You can It's like you can't put out that energy and think you're going to get the reverse. You're going to get what you put out. So whether you think you are or not, whether you believe it or not, whether it's you thinking about something negative is going to happen, or you thinking about something positive is going to happen, you are vibrating on that level. And what most people don't understand, it's like when people say they're broke, it's not that you're broke, because guess what? You have access to money. Money is energy. Money is energy. So if you're vibrating at a energy where you feel abundant, or you feel good, or you feel happy, you're going to attract those things. And so I think that self-love is really critical for happiness. That's where you have to start. You have to have a higher regard for your own well-being. That's where it starts, because you can't change unless you're willing to liberate yourself from comparisons, meaning you can't look at someone and say they have this and I don't have. Because guess what? You don't know what that person did to get what they have. You don't know what channels, you don't know that journey. Are you willing to go through that same journey? So definitely stop comparing yourself, because that's where the negativity comes from. When you feel that you're in lack and this person have. So as soon as you start to say, I don't have, you're already vibrating in lack. As soon as you start to look and compare yourself to someone and feel that you are missing something. So once you feel like you're missing something, that's when you're vibrating in negative energy. That's when all that negative stuff is going to be pulled to you. And so, when people understand that once you accomplish getting the things that you want, you're going to want more, right? And what is the biggest things that people want? They want love. They want to be accepted. They want to be appreciated. They want to be respected. They want freedom. That's what you really want. So those are the emotions and the feelings that you have to focus on, because once you start leveling up yourself and start looking at things differently and vibrating at a different level, you would be amazed at how you start to see your life change. It's like a monopoly effect. Once you start to do things in a different way, you're going to see change. You're going to see people come into your life. You're going to see opportunities come. And for me, it all started when I changed my mindset on how I looked at myself. And you can't let other people put labels on you, because I think we live in a society where we're so, we allow so many people to put labels on you, whether it's your family, your friends, whether it's your coworkers. You can't let people define who you are.
Listen, when I say what you're saying resonates with me, it resonates because I've always been a positive person ever since I was young, right? No matter what I'm going through, I don't look, and I tell people when I'm out there speaking, I don't look at the glass as half full or half empty, right? What I say is, and pardon my expression, give me the damn pitcher and I'll pour it in whatever glass I want, which means I'm the master of my universe. I don't operate on half full or half empty, right? And I so believe that's what we need to do because I knew I had some sort of a power or a gift when I was younger. I just didn't know what it was, right?
Mhm.
So then when I found out the whole empath thing, and I've always operated in positivity. I can walk in a room and I can know who's the negative person. I can
Mhm.
feel it, right? As you said, energy. I can feel their energy. So here was something that's so funny, right? My husband's now is buying into this whole thing. We've been married 34 years. Now
Mhm.
he's like, okay, Jackie, what do you feel about that person? What do you think's going to happen? So here's this. I was in a thrift store and I saw this guy. He picked up this painting and I said, Dag, I didn't say it to him. I looked at the painting and I'm like, Dag, I want the painting. I said inside my head, you know what? It would be nice if he gave me the painting. I'm walking around. The guy meets me, right, in one of the aisles and he says, Ma'am, do you want this painting? I'm like, and I know how powerful I am because I can just think it or say, I haven't spoken to so and so, they'll call. I believe in operating not in lack. I agree with you. Money is energy, money is all around us. Some people may be thinking, because at one point, because I'm a Christian, I was fighting with that, right?
Mhm.
And then when
Right.
I realized this is not witchcraft, it's not voodoo, read the Bible because the same thing like the secrets are things that's really from the Bible, right? But they
Mhm.
just put secrets on it.
Right.
So whether it's manifestation, you praying, same thing. So I want people to understand, and I'm glad that you're the expert on here, that we have to start leveling up. There isn't anything wrong because I think some people have the concept that they should just settle. They don't want to be greedy. Look, if heaven has diamonds, sapphires, and rubies, why can't I have some of that here as well? Because I want it all. Okay.
Mhm.
Not all money is good money. And I
Mhm.
recognize that because it's exchanging energy. But I
Mhm.
want people to understand, like you, that we need to start leveling up and being the best that we can be. Create the life we love. Because once you do that, stress goes away, blood pressure goes down, and more because when I started really living this, Miss Georgia, positive and more positive people.
Yep.
Jackie, how can I help you? What do you want me to do? I wanted a juicer, and I remember my first camera, I just put it out there. My camera was paid for.
Mhm.
My juicer paid for. And I'm like, and this is the Mac Daddy of juices, right?
Mhm.
And it just shows me how wonderful this world is. We have negative things that happen, of course, but that's for me when negative things happen to me, it's for me it's a lesson that I need to learn out of it, whether it's death, whatever. It's a teaching lesson. So since we're talking about create the life you love, what do you mean about create the life you love?
Creating the life you love is more so about understanding your why. And that's
Mm,
always important, to understand your why, because your why is your motivation of why you do the things you do. Your why is why you spend times doing the things that you do. You have to understand your why before you start pursuing something. So your why is always bigger than you. It's always bigger than you. And once you get over the fear of financial insecurity blocking your financial goal, or fear of how other people see you, or fear of just not being good enough. Once you can let go of those things, now you could get on the path to creating the life you love. Because what is creating the life you love? It's not just about money, it's about happiness. People think success brings them happiness, but it's actually the reverse. Happiness brings you success, because when you love what you're doing and when you're passionate about what you're doing, you feel fulfilled. You feel like you're on top of the world. You feel like, I think I've got it. I feel like I'm on the right path. I feel like my life is in alignment. That's when you know you're on the right path. You are in alignment. What does that mean? What is alignment? Alignment is aligning your talents, your gifts. Just look at it like this, connecting the dots, right? Your gifts, your talents, your natural abilities, your education, your skill set, things you've learned over your jobs or through education. All of these things is connected to your purpose. So all of these things that you've done in your life and you're like, "Oh, I don't know why I did this," or "I don't know why I did this." It's all connected. And you will get to that place where you see
Mhm.
the connection. But you have to embrace it, because if you're constantly resisting change, whatever that change might be, and sometimes it's like people in your life that you have to let go. Sometimes it's bad habits you have to let go. Sometimes it's just, your old mindset that you have to
Mhm.
change. There's so many things. So you have to think about it like this. If you're trying to get on this plane to this new life that you want, you can't take all the baggage with you. You
Mhm.
can't expect the plane to take off and take you to that next level until you get rid of some of the luggage. It's too much stuff, too much negativity, too much old mindset, too much jealousy or any negative emotions that you've been carrying with you for over these years. These things gotta go, because guess
Mhm.
what? This new life, you can't bring all that
Right.
negativity with you. You have to let some of that stuff go. And sometimes, yes, sometimes it's friends, sometimes it's family, sometimes it's people close to you. But you have to be aware of that. And when you start to prioritize your life based on what's important to you start to make time for things that's important to you. And so that's how you create the life you love. Because understanding your why I say that everybody should have a mission statement in their life. And when people say to me, as a life coach, "Georgia, why should I have a mission statement?" Well, a mission statement gives you clarity, it gives you focus, it gives you intention. And like you said, Jacqueline, focusing on your intention. Why am I here? That's the most important question, people, that you will ever ask yourself is, why am I here? Because that's when the transformation begins. That's when the change starts to happen. Then you start to see yourself changing, and people will look at you and you're glowing, and they're like,
Mhm.
"There's something different about you. You're not the same." Because guess what? You are living your life in awareness. You're aware now. You're aware of the people that's around you. You're aware of the opportunities that's around you. You're aware of when to say yes and when to say no when you are in alignment. So therefore you can start to create the life you love.
Okay, so here, let me just give you the abbreviated version. So I used to train doctors, making six figures, company car, all of that, living the life, right? So I started getting a little knock, internal knock. Like, look, you need to leave me alone, Lord. I'm loving this life. He was knocking and he would send me little notes on what he wanted me to do. I am not doing that. I don't care what you say. I love this. Okay. I love
Mm-hmm.
this lifestyle. And he's like, that's not why you're here. And I'm like, look, I'm not messing with you. Leave me alone. So because I didn't listen to him, my health started getting affected. Because he said, that's why I tell people, pay attention to your health. Because if you don't, your health will pay attention to you.
Mm-hmm.
So things started happening. I would drive, I would start getting panic attacks. I would start passing out. A whole host of things would happen. And I still didn't connect it with him. So, and I was in and out of the hospital. So finally, in one of my many visits to the hospital, he said, Jackie, you need to quit this job. I'm like, what? Do what? You got to be crazy. I'm
Mhm.
loving this. I'm not doing anything. And he's like, no, you're going to quit this job. I'm like, lies you tell. So I said, yeah, I'm going to quit the job. Went back to work, wasn't listening to him. Ended back up in the hospital.
Oh
And I
my.
remember hearing this. The next time you come out, it's going to be in a body bag.
Oh my goodness.
Sitting in the hospital, picked up my phone, text, effective immediately, I resign. I remember to this day, I spelled the word effectively wrong. Resigned, I wrote designed and had to go back and put resigned. I remember this clearly. And I'm like, Lord, what am I going to do? Why did I do that? Why did I do that? So he's like, I said, what am I going to do now? This is all I've done, medical field, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I got you. And I'm like, you got me. Who got you? Some, going back and forth. So get discharged from the hospital. He said, I want you to work with women. I said, Lord, I don't like them. I don't like them. They gossip. They crazy. Because I was a guy's girl, and I would see how women were. And the job that I had, I was with mostly men, but I would see how women were amongst each other. So I'm
Right.
outside looking in. I'm like, I can't tolerate that. I'm slick with my lip.
Mhm.
I don't play. And he's like, I got you, but I need to humble you first. I said, what
Mhm.
you mean? He's like, I need to humble you. I'm not going to take your life. I'm not going to break up your marriage, but everything else, how are you going to speak to women if you don't know what you're speaking about? So I'm
Right.
like, wait a minute, this is a little scary here. And when I tell you, he humbled me where I was crying, okay? And like, okay, God, I felt like Job. Okay, I'm done. I'm ready. So, and he said it's going to be a walk in the park. You ask for stuff, he sent people to me. I didn't know
Mhm.
I was going to do this. I didn't know I was going to do a radio show at one point. I was in a restaurant talking, going back and forth with the restaurant owner. Some guy taps me on my shoulder and says, "Hey, do you want to be on He says, "What do you want to do?" I said, "Radio." Should have said TV. He's like, "I work for a radio station." I'm like, "What?" So when I tell you he has made it, yes, challenging, but it's worth it because I'm telling you, I love this. I don't want to go back to corporate. I love what I'm doing. It's mine. And I love the fact that again, my mission is we're all in the same book, just different chapters,
Mhm.
right? And that's really what it's all about. My job is to be the person, the purpose to show women that we can work together. We can
Absolutely.
support those who don't want to be bothered. Sit aside. I don't have a problem
Mhm.
pushing you out of the bus. I'm good at that, okay?
Mhm.
But I just like to laugh every day, have a good day because people complain, oh, it's raining. Our grass needs water. You're complaining
Exactly.
about the wrong thing. You're alive. You can breathe air. You know what I'm saying? And I think in this society, we tend to complain more than compliment,
Mhm.
right? So
Absolutely.
when you mentioned lack, okay, so I reached out to this sister, right? So
Mhm.
I'm one of those like I'm a type A person. Everything has to be a certain way. Y'all should see my vision boards. My visions boards out of this world. Okay, each year I try to perfect it. It can be a little stressful at times. So I
Mhm.
reached out to her and she sent me this binder, right? This book, right? And the books it's basically Create the Life You Love with Georgia Woodbine. It's a vision planning journal, right? So here's the thing how I fell in love with her. Stickers. If y'all know me, I love stickers. And then it talks about who the book belongs to, right? But I just want to show you something because I would like for you guys to get this. So, I'm telling you, I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. So then it has a mind map. Then it talks about your ideas and notes for the week. Positive habit creator. What will I do to feel good this week? Week priorities, affirmations. This says, today's task. I don't care what she says. She was in my brain And she took everything out of my brain and put it in this book. Georgia, when I tell you, and it's a calendar,
Mhm.
this is an all-in-one book that I am so glad that you created, because I'm one of those, okay, what am I doing for the week? And if it doesn't work out, I know how to adapt, right? And you have to be able to adapt and not complain like, oh my God, it didn't go right. You are a friggin' genius. I love this book. Look, I'm already online for 2024.
Well, when I created that, I used to walk around with a notebook every month, and that I used to write down my daily to-do list. I used to write down my affirmations. And so that's what made me come up with creating this, because journaling and writing down my goals changed my life. It changed my life to manifest all of the things that I set forth to happen. So, when people say to me that, Georgia, have you cracked the code to living a happy and healthier lifestyle? I'm like, absolutely, because I understand I have the power to create. And
Mhm.
so I came up with that journal because I think sometimes in life we take things for granted, like you mentioned, like just saying the things that you're grateful for, and all of these ideas that I had, God just spoke to me and said, you need to create this vision planner. So for me, it was like, the vision board, but it's a planner that you can take with you on the go. So it's like a vision board because it has the affirmation stickers, but it's also your personal planner. It's also your monthly calendar. It's also your to-do list. And the thing is, when people start to look at, because what people don't realize is the things that you do every day leads up to how you achieve
Mhm.
your goals for the year. So you're basically working your way backwards, so what you do, daily, what you do weekly, what you do monthly, what you do hourly, all of these things. And when you look in your journal and you see all of this activity and you start seeing things happen in your life, and you're like, oh my gosh, how did I get here? Well, look in your journal, look
Mhm.
at your daily activity, look at your to do list. Are you actually getting those things done? Because there's a saying, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So you have to have a plan. And, they say that there was a study that was conducted by a psychology professor, Dr. Gail Matthews, and it confirmed the importance of setting goals. And he recruited like 267 people from all different backgrounds to participate in this study on how goal achievement is influenced by three actions. One, writing down your goals. Two, committing to your goals with goal directed actions. And three, creating accountability for those actions. So this is not rocket scientists. They showed that 76% of the participants that were part of this study who wrote their goals down, who took action, and who maintained the weekly progress. Those are the ones that successfully achieved their goals. So this is real stuff, people. This is real
Mhm.
stuff. And if you just start to get to a place where you're not chasing, you're not racing, you're not comparing, you're not reacting to negative energy, you're not, letting others control the way you think, that's when you can get to a place of really self-reflecting on what is it in my life that I need to change. And then next, after you figure out what it is you need to change, then take that action step. So
Mhm.
think about one big thing, that one big thing in your life that you're just like, I just can't do this another year. I can't just keep being this deja vu moment. There's something I need to change. What is that big thing? Focus on that big thing that you want to change. And then start writing down daily goals and weekly goals and monthly goals on how you're going to change it. Because change is not going to come just by you saying you want change.
Mhm.
Change is going to come by you taking action for it to happen.
Well, I know that's true because I do vision boards every year, and I belong to a worship center where you're writing a letter, and in the letter you're also putting the things that you want for the following year, right? And let's say in 2020, let's say in December 2022, you're writing you're writing what you want. When you go to church the last Sunday of December 2022, you are then given an envelope. You then have to put a stamp on the envelope, put it in the envelope, give it to the worship center. They'll mail it back to you December of 2022, 2023, for you to look back to see, like, oh my goodness. Because I write mine down, I have the whole vision board. And what's so interesting about that is when I look at my vision board, I'm like, oh my God, of 35 things, I accomplished 29. And it's just amazing how the universe works because I like to see it. I walk in my office and, and I'm one of those, I'll go and I cut things out and, very visual as opposing to writing it because journaling has been, I just don't like it to write it down. So what I do is I use pictures, little
Hmm.
things I can do, but pictures to tell you what I want. And when I looked at it one year, I'm like, oh my God, I am kicking butt. And then not only is that great, that then elevates you to go for it. Because some people, when they're asking for things, they ask for small things, but then that elevates you to go to the next level and the next level, because there isn't anything that's on this God's green earth that you cannot achieve. Right.
There you go.
So I agree with you when you talk about that. Please tell us, let us know your links, your social media, your contact information, whoever's watching, if they need to have you as a coach. And I'm telling y'all need to book a session with her, okay? Book a session with her because I'm telling you, she's on and popping. So get us your contact information.
Thank you so much for having me on your show. And they could go to my website, www.georgiawoodbine.com. And I do want to give a free gift to your audience. It's the 5 secrets to create the life you love. And if you go to my website, www.georgiawoodbine.com, and you click the link, send me the secrets, I will get that email to you. So there's plenty of information on my website, plenty of you know, tips and tools and videos on how you can get to that next level in your life. So there's no excuse. There's no excuse for you to stay stuck. Absolutely no excuse. And if you are stuck, that's because you have made that personal choice to stay stuck. You don't have to be in a relationship you're not happy in. You don't have to stay at a job that you hate. You don't have to feel like you're unhealthy. You can change your diet. You don't have to feel like your friends are toxic. These are all things that you have the power to change. So change begins when what? When you make a decision. Because nothing stays the same when you do things differently. Nothing stays the same. And the biggest gift that we have, people, is what? The gift of choice. We have the gift of choice.
For me, what I've decided, I don't allow toxic people because in the past I would like, oh, let me tolerate them, let me put up with them. I don't have, because this is how I feel about things. I am such a diamond that I need to surround myself with other people who's either going to polish me
Mhm.
or who are diamonds themselves, right? And there's so many people that when I allow people in my space, and I don't care what people want to call it, because I'm past the age where I don't give a crap what people think,
There
right?
you
I'm
go.
just at that, but I think I was like that when I was young anyway, younger. I look at things like if you're taking up space in my life and you're not beneficial to both of us and yourself, you need to leave. You need to excuse yourself because there's other people that want to be in the spot that you're in. I
Mhm.
come from the school where you hear people say things like, "Oh, you don't need to have people in the front row, put them in the
Mhm.
back row." But let me tell y'all something about me. I don't want you in the audience. I
Mhm.
don't want you in the arena. Okay, I'm not one way. Oh, you need to see what I'm doing, and if I don't like you, at least you don't need to know what I'm doing. You
Mhm.
don't need to know what I'm doing. Be gone. I just don't have the tolerance anymore. Now that I've seen what I can do with what God has given me, I don't need to tolerate things or, well, maybe they'll change. Because if I'm telling you what I don't like and you're still doing it, you're disrespecting me. So we can still be friends from a distance, but I don't have time. I got too much work to do. I got too much work to do. God's told me He got so much for me to do that I don't have time to lollygag and, grown men, grown women repeat the same thing over and over again. We all want to be loved. We all want to be liked. I think, Georgia, and I'd like you to comment on this. for me, I think this is such an uncomplicated world, but we as people complicate it.
Hmm. Well, I do think that in life, you should definitely have healthy boundaries in your relationship, meaning you have to know if you're constantly being the giver and someone's constantly being the taker. And you need to set healthy boundaries. And you need to know what your non-negotiables are. You need to know that, like the people in your circle, look at your circle of five, know what your non-negotiables are and stick to it. And don't let people manipulate you and take advantage of you and make you feel like you're not worthy or you're not good enough. Because guess what? You are enough. You are
Mhm.
worthy. You are valuable. Don't let anyone ever make you feel that you're not. And know what you would tolerate in relationships and don't let people continuously be takers and drain you of your energy, because what happens then is you're functioning at such a low vibration when you allow those people to constantly take, that you start feeling depressed, you start feeling tired, you start feeling like you have all these negative emotions. And it's because of what? It's because of your circles, because of the people that are around you. So, like Jacqueline was saying, look at your circle. And guess what? You should not be the smartest person in your circle, because guess
Bam.
what? You're not evolving. You're not evolving. You always want to be with somebody that's on another level higher than you. That's how
Mhm.
you evolve. That's how you change. That's how
That
you
part.
become the best you and live in your highest potential.
And I wanted to bring Georgia on because we're still in January. And, I keep hearing people talk about, oh, I need to do my vision board, and they haven't done it. So if you've not completed your vision board or even started, at least from today, today going forward, when you finish watching the show, and of course you're sharing it with people, because of course sharing is caring, y'all. I want to make sure that you're sharing the information that you're getting. But no, in all jokes aside, I want people to live their full life. And
Hmm.
people need to understand, whatever puzzle there was in the past, you are helping them put the pieces together. You have to have your vision planning journal. You have to have something. And why not get it from her? I'm telling you, it's amazing. Sit down. Even if you think, this is just wacko. What's going to happen if you try it? What's the worst? Okay, it's a pretty book. You get to and it's going to make you think, and not the I like how it's aesthetically pleasing, because I love stuff that's aesthetically pleasing, right? But it gets you to actually, like on Sundays, I'll go by the lake, or I go in my office and just, okay, what am I going to do? What do I need to do? How can I change? Because this also helps me with my behavior, because I'm telling you, I'm slick with my lip, I'm slick with my lip. But I've learned that I don't have to show up for every fight. I've
Hmm.
learned that recently, maybe in the last couple of years. I don't have to show up for every fight. I don't have to go tit for tat with you. I can just, because back then it was, that's what I discovered in this whole thing, my ego. I had to release my ego, not to have the last word all the time. And just, okay, if you feel like you're going to win, go ahead, you won. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So for me, being such a type A woman, such a dominant woman, or an alpha woman, so to speak, I have to sometimes release that ego and step back. Step
Hmm.
back doesn't mean you're losing. Step back doesn't mean you're weak. And in the past, that's what I thought. So I'm
Hmm.
learning every day. I'm soaking up knowledge, listening to you, going through this, and just, it's just amazing to me that I am so glad that I'm still here today. So
Hmm.
many people didn't wake up this morning.
I
And I'm
know.
so happy that I'm healthy, I'm alive. There isn't anything that can, the only stumbling block I may have is me.
Hmm.
That's what I've realized. I could be my own, you know, um, person that stops me from being who I want to be. But I choose to be a cheerleader. I am doggone fine. I'm
There you
fine
go.
at mine. Look, there's two. I'm telling you, we are worthy. Women are worthy. There isn't anything wrong saying you're fine. There isn't
There
anything
you
wrong
go.
that you go. You got to feed you. You can't wait for the outside work. Look,
There
let me
you
stop,
go.
because this is about to
There
get
you
complex.
go.
We getting into a conference right now, okay? But an empowerment series right now, but I want women to listen and to take heed of what you're saying. And again, I
Absolutely.
want to thank you for being so gracious with your time and energy just by gracing us on this platform.
Thank you so much for having me. And I just want to thank you for, taking the time out to do this podcast and to continuously be out there empowering women because we know like women can be very competitive and very catty and the fact that you're taking time out to do this show, I just want to thank you because people don't realize that you when you make this type of commitment, they just don't understand the time and the resources and how much you put of your heart and soul into this. People just don't understand,
Mm-mm.
and I just thank you for doing a show like this because you know what? It's so needed out there. People need empowerment. They need encouragement. They need to know that, you know what? You're not alone. Because you know
Mm-hmm.
what? Guess what? I went through debt. I went through losing a job. I went through losing a car. I went through losing a home. You're not alone. I've been through those things and I came out of those things and I came out on top. And so can you. You can come out on top. But the first step is to change yourself. You can change anything. You can have anything. You can be anything. You can do anything. But it starts with you. It starts with you changing some things in your life, negative behaviors, negative habits, negative thought patterns. It starts with you. That's where it starts.
See, she's telling the truth because for me, when people actually find out or who I've spoken with, had conversations with, and like, oh my God, Jackie, you've been through all of that. You don't have to look like your scars. My scars are healed. This is what healed looks like. So when I'm smiling and grinning and I'm not putting on a front because I don't know how to pretend. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So I want people to see. I'll tell them what I've gone through and I'm telling them so they can see this is who I am. If I've gone through that, what you're going through, not that I'm comparing, you can go through this, through the sex
Mm-hmm.
trafficking, all that stuff I've gone through, and this is who I am today. And I
Mm-hmm.
love when I say I love this new version of Jackie. I thought I loved her in 2022 and 20 since she was born, but baby, 2023, baby, I'm telling you, I'm gonna be
I
busting some
love
things
it.
out, huh?
Hmm. I love it. I
I'm gonna
love
be
it. I
busting
think
some
that,
things out.
it's time for celebration. It's about time. Stop waiting to exhale. You don't have to wait to exhale. You know what I mean? You have
Mhm.
everything you need right now to exhale. Stop waiting for you to have that certain amount of money. Stop waiting for that perfect man to come into your life. Stop waiting for that job. You don't have to wait. You have what you need. You have all the tools that you need to change your life, but you just have to take the first step. Just take the first step.
Well, you heard it. You heard it from Miss Georgia Woodbine. You heard it. www.georgiawoodbine.com. You heard it from the mistress. You heard it from the queen of how to create the life you love. We want to thank everyone for tuning in to the Women of Worthy Network. I'm so appreciative. We have now hit 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. We
Wow.
now have over 140,000 views in our platform. When I say y'all could be anywhere else and y'all riding and dying. Well, I won't say dying, but y'all are riding with me till the wheels fall off. I am so, when I tell you I'm so in love with life, I'm so in love with life. And I want to thank each and every one of you, for taking the time, the space, the energy just to watch these programs, to comment on these
Mhm.
programs. Again, if you're new to the platform, please subscribe to the Women of Worthy Network. Share it with your friends. Sharing is caring. And again, we're all in the same book, just different chapters. So
Mhm.
I'm your host, Miss Jacqueline Charles. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.